Welcome back, Academy fans, for Game 2 of today's show, a showdown between two new organizations, 100 Thieves Academy and OpTic Academy. Once again, let's familiarize ourselves with the teams before we get into this matchup. On the blue side, it is going to be 100 Thieves. That means in the top lane is Kaizen, subbing into the jungle, Kitsuo. Mid lane being held down by Lin Sanity, bot lane Rikara, and support Wyatt.
Over on the red side, starting for OpTic Academy. In the top lane, we have Darkla. In the jungle, Acadian. Mid, Palafox. Andy is in the bot lane, getting supported by Old Man Lemonation.
Elimination. He's always had a great AD carry come out, or bot laner, from what he's done. So we'll have to see what happens during this time of subbing in quick. So both of these teams are fielding developmental rosters because of the issues with player visas. OpTic has needed to substitute Acadian and Elimination from their LCS roster to place of Kadir and Winter.
Right, and we'll have to see what effect these guys have with the roster today. But the emergency substitution did not seem to work out so well for their matchup yesterday versus Team Liquid Academy. We just saw, obviously, a very strong team. We'll have to keep our eye on how this team will progress over the course of the split, because they do have multiple OpTic partners supporting this team for coaching and analysis, something that happens across the entire organization.
Yeah, they face off against 100 Thieves Academy, who have a lot of hype surrounding their pickup of GPL All-Star jungler Levi.
And unfortunately, despite how big of a story is for this team, he is not here to play this week as he finalizes his visa for the team. In his place, like you said, is Kitsuo, who played in the Challenger Squad Team Gates previously last year. But really, this is a team development opportunity for the rest of these guys. You have the bot lane duo of Rikara and Wyan, who played in the Challenger Series last split, winning it overall. And they're going to come in with Lin Sanity and Kaizen coming in to finish out from this year's scouting grounds, round out the rest of that roster. Overall, a fair amount of Challenger veterans with some really, really new guys.
Yep, and we're about to get into Champion Select. Looking at yesterday's offline games, Kitsuo holding his own there, and then Jungle subbed in for what he needed to do in 100.
That was a brutal game. It was like 17-0. They absolutely destroyed them. I think 100 Thieves Academy here, despite even without Levi, is apparently the team to watch right now. We'll have to see if they can keep all that up. A lot of, like we said, some guys with a lot of experience there, Rikara and Wyan, winning in the Challenger Finals last year. So these guys obviously understand what it's like to play on a big stage with a lot of pressure on them, which is something I think some other the players in this league don't have that experience.
Absolutely, and we kind of see the opposite from OpTic, where they have a bit of a structured early game. I mean, you have Acadian and Elimination. We saw that yesterday with a 4-0 Aurelia in the top lane, but they weren't able to get that mid-late game and get that to work for them.
Right, obviously as substitutes, Acadian and Elimination haven't really worked in this team that often, so they might not have exactly what the late game plans are, but you put an Aurelia versus Gnar and give me the tools to snowball it, I think Acadian knows exactly what he wants to do up there. So hopefully they find that early game again here for OpTic, but have a better job continuing to push their advantages.
We'll see how they start things off here in picks and bans. Ornn, Zoe, I like that already from OpTic side. And the Rek'Sai and Nidalee, immediately two junglers from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it's two junglers who have a little bit more power farming potential, and I guess they're trying to keep that off of Acadian, someone who does have great pathing, trying to limit his own individual advantages that he can rack up for himself through some intelligent pathing.
And mid lane for those last two bans with that Zoe and Azir. Quick rise coming in from Lin Sanity. Instant pickup, no thought needed, onto the side of OpTic.
And there you see kind of the priorities that we're talking about. Rise is a very important pick for a lot of people right now in the meta. There's him, there's Malzahar, Azir, still see some Oriannas, these kinds of things. Zoe is another popular one. There you go with the Malzahar going in to counter him. Just generally a very strong champion, and because of his ultimate, even in not so great matchups, once 6 comes unlocked, you can combo with that jungler to make something happen.
And so, I noticed as well I keep saying Team Liquid Academy played it, or Mickey did, but just it helps with movement, being able to realm warp your team back in. The organization in these games isn't at top notch since nobody's played that much together. They're all kind of combining a pretty good skill, but having that realm warp says, oh yeah, now we can go to the other side of the map. They're never going to be that fast on the opposing team.
Right, and some people push up too far. If you have these kind of split pushers who aren't synergizing perfectly with their team, Realm Warp is a great tool to take advantage of those kind of lapses in vision control or laning positioning.
Ezreal getting locked in for Andy. Should have a pretty safe laning phase towards the bot side, so we may not see too much focus there from Acadian to start things off. Like we said, that was to Dokla last game on the Aurelia to get him going. as we see a Brom and a Sejuani picked up, keeping things chilled on the side of 100 Thieves.
Love to see what OpTic decides to do, because last time on the side of TSM Academy, they let that Jarvan pick go through, ends up getting banned out, puts Rig in a bit of a rough spot here. Looks like OpTic might be choosing a similar strategy here. Go with the Morgana, bit of a Lemonation specialty.
Plus another spell shield. We're going to spell shield on Malzahar. Here's another one. Second phase of bans now come through. Remember, 100 Thieves feeling really good about what happened yesterday. Probably going to try to rinse and repeat. So not too crazy of a composition I expect coming in from them. OpTic may throw a bit of a loop in here, but it seems so far to be pretty orthodox from both teams.
All right, I mean, the Morgana, as much as a pick that isn't super meta in a lot of people's minds, it is a well-known Braum counter. You saw those passives start stacking up. You throw the spell shield on it, suddenly it does nothing. So it is a great laning opponent for Braum, as well as the fact that it's just ranged, pushes well with W, Tormented Soil. There's a lot of things that make Morgana a very meta pick, in a sense, into Braum.
Elimination as well.
Yeah, just also Elimination's in the game, so there you go.
The meta pushes up a little bit when he does. Jarvan and Tom Kench getting knocked out. Kench being used quite a bit lately to help out that Kog'Maw in the early game, who we actually still see on the list this time. Gnar getting taken out as one final ban from 100 Thieves.
Right, Gnar taken out. I believe that might actually be the Kog'Maw ban. It's a little, yes, squint.
That is a Kog'Maw. It is not a Tom Kench.
Yeah, a little
looks like Tom Kench for me.
You understand the struggles that we face right now. And there you go with
spectacles.
The Camille coming in, Gnar gone, Camille gone, some top lane focus here now. And yeah, like we were saying, that Jarvan ban getting thrown now that the junglers are going to have this kind of like S-tier mismatch where Sejuani is taken, Jarvan not.
Andy, Canadian going for the strong early game.
Yeah, I mean, Kha'Zix is a very powerful pick right now with the R evolve first and the mobility that comes with getting the stealth and speed up moving through the brushes. Does add a little bit more consistency to his gameplay than you sometimes see when it was previously the Q evolve and is like, well, I have to go in and murder people, otherwise I don't have my Q doing anything. Here with that R evolve, obviously, you get map mobility, you get a little bit better presence in the jungle in terms of being able to avoid being seen, pathing, all these kinds of things.
I still remember back in the day when Skara had that game where he accidentally leveled up the R, and we're like, is this new? Is this the way to do it? We're like, nah, man, that was a mistake. Still an LCS mistake.
Oh yeah, everybody.
Funny time, yeah, right? Do this now. Do it now. Now it is the thing. Who knew? Poppy getting locked in, actually, for Kaizen on the top side. Haven't seen too much of her lately, and they get the Callista, so they even have objective control to go with all of this composition.
Very surprising to see that the Poppy kind of blind out of nowhere when there are other tanks up. I mean, we have seen Maokai still a little bit in the other regions that are playing, and to have the Poppy priority over it is a bit of a surprise. And there we see the Cho'Gath into it.
You're like, all right, you want to just hit back and forth and lane a few love taps? That's perfectly fine. I will be Cho'Gath. So OpTic Academy having a bit of late game presence if Cho'Gath becomes the size of the screen. But 100 Thieves looks like they have a team that can just keep doing that over and over again. Keep fighting, keep that Callista going, and Sejuani and Braum on the front line with Poppy.
Yeah, really, really tanky team here on the side of 100 Thieves. Even Rise, to an extent, gets pretty beefy. So you're going to see Callista with this big meat wall in front of her, and she's going to be tossing people in, trying to get these engages going. And on the side of 100 Thieves, you see a little bit more slipperiness with that Ezreal, with that Morgana, going to be trying to kite a lot of these fights out.
Saw the Rise and the Callista on that ban list last game. Now 100 Thieves gets to see what they do with it coming in. OpTic Academy looking to get themselves a victory as we come in here today on the board for the NA Academy League. We are into game, and we'll see who actually has this. Remember, organizations kind of have a little bit of a kerfuffle from their history, but it's a hearty kerfuffle. These guys are friends as it goes, and it'll be a great rivalry as the season goes on.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things people are very excited about with this permanent partnership. Both these guys having rich histories in other esports, now both starting a new chapter. 100 Thieves is a little bit more recent, but they do have that going on. So expect a lot of trash talk between Nate, Shot, Hector, all the GMs, as if there isn't enough already between the league scene itself with Reggie and Steve.
I can't wait, man. It's getting so spicy between all the coaches and the lead managers and whatnot. It'll be a very interesting year across the Academy League and the NALCS. We'll see how things start here. Stopwatches once again across the board on the left side, except for Kaizen and Wyan, as we would expect. And also on the other side. Elimination getting his stopwatch in, though, so he can get crazy on Morgana.
very powerful on Morgana. There are some offensive use cases of the stopwatch, and you see that in dives and things like that when you want to switch turret aggro. It's kind of an instant turret switch aggro, which is useful.
Yeah.
But it's especially powerful in Morgana, who has that ultimate that's going to tether to people, and you want to keep them in that range. They turn on to you to try and kill you before it goes off, and now you have that Zhonya's, which is so critical for her, available one time early on right away. So a great pickup for Morgana.
Love it. Creates those little mind games too, because if you're somebody under a turret and you see Morgana first tank it, you might be a little more inclined to stay, and then you get tricked by a stopwatch.
Yeah, exactly. It's very powerful, and it's one of those kind of mini objectives that people can focus on now, which is very interesting because you talk about Flash as a mini objective. Like the first
stopwatch down.
Yeah, you want to get Morgana stopwatch down. She's terrifying when she has it. You never know when she's going to flash on top of you, and so it is in some sense, if you can get Morgana's stopwatch out, a minor victory.
Well, one we haven't seen really or come into play too much is the Hex Flash. When you get Shens in the bot lane, or oh, what a nuisance. And they just kind of stand in the bush and then they're on top of you.
Yeah, Alistar in particular,
Alistar,
very powerful
exactly.
with that rune. His flash is down, you're like, great, I don't need to worry about his engagements anymore.
This is great.
Nope, he's still sitting in the brush, still has that flash up.
Why is he standing still showing me his hand? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Clean pushes in the mid lane here. A bit of a lead for Insanity on that side, but the minions are there to be picked up by Palafox. Has a little bit of a push in here by Dokla on the top side. Should be an easy cleanup for Kaizen.
Yeah, Cho'Gath hasn't seen a ton of play overall, but it is a good matchup into Poppy in a lot of ways because Poppy often enjoys being able to deny you, you know, your engages with her steadfast presence, blocking a lot of those on some champions, as well as the fact that if she stands near a wall, you try and engage onto her, she can often bop you into the wall. Cho'Gath as a tank plays from a lot further range than a lot of other ones do. His Rupture and Feral Scream both have pretty good range, as well as his E being able to pass through a lot of minions. So there's just a couple less opportunities for Poppy to use her interactions in a favorable way compared to some other closer play tank matchups.
Having silence in the way too can cause so much chaos in
yeah.
a fight when you're not expecting it. You thought, even when you thought you have cast that spell and it's still up, you're like, big whoopsie.
Definitely an annoying matchup. But you can probably expect not too much to go on. This is a tank versus tank up there.
Exactly. There's a little farming back and forth. Thanks very much as they just go back and forth. 22 to 21, like I said, that minion or those minions were there to clean up, and probably not a lot of aggression for the junglers to head up there, as that's all they will be doing. Bot lane aggression going in. The Ren comes out to slow things down. A nice spell shield. We saw Andy going a little bit harder on that fight. No backs yet from the mid laners, but also no teleports on them this game, unless they switch that one out.
Yep, both of them are in fact running the unsealed spellbook there. So you start with those more laning focused ones, get those heals and cleanses to make sure you know, against point and click CC that Ryze has unlocked right away with that W basically. You want to make sure you don't get locked down and chain CC'd by the Sejuani. Ryze just picks the heal to make sure he stays healthy to any ganks, and then later on in the game, maybe you see those teleports start coming in, being able to use those to make map plays.
Seeing what Acadian's pathing is, does seem to be hovering a bit more towards the top side. Obviously, that's where his jungle camp is bringing him, but he hasn't really shown as much as he did yesterday in that lane with Kaizen.
Yeah, a lot less volatile matchup up there this time around.
Rather, Dokla, I should say, yeah.
Yeah, Dokla was on that Aurelia pick into Gnar. You have a great kill potential on the mini Gnar form, and Acadian made sure to get up there and abuse that, but this time around, not as much of an obvious play, and I think that can sometimes hurt a team that has less synergy because it's very easy to capitalize on something with such a clear kill threat. And here they do have the Malzahar, so maybe at 6 you see him start capitalizing on that a little bit more. Right. But much like we were talking about the power of Stopwatch on Morgana, it's very potent on Ryze once he hits 6, unlocks that bubble to protect himself as he realm warps out of any potential threats, becomes basically a get-out-of-jail-free card once in the early game.
Question marks on the members. As you see, they head into the Fog of War and out, but the vision is actually quite good here. Walked right around the pink ward. Of course, we say it, and they start doing it again.
Yep, gave him some praise last game. Instantly lose that praise.
Take it right away. You have to earn it. Bot lane brush control by Wyan. Looks like he wanted a bit, but didn't really get himself in the right spot. Nice shield. Very quick coming in from Lemon Nation as they trade back and forth. And Demolish popping off there for Kaizen as he gets, or I'm sorry, for Dokla as he gets under the turret.
Got a little greedy there. Wanted to get that hit of demolish onto the turret. Ends up getting chunked out as a result. Dropped down to around 4 to 10 HP. Does have a fair amount of sustain available, but got to be careful now with this HP disadvantage.
You always wonder, is it worth? The buckler comes out, gets stomped on by Dokla now as he keeps himself a little bit more safe. Back and forth as his own ward, along with that Scuttle Crab grabbed up by Acadian as he continues to power farm his jungle. 44 to 28.
Nice advantage there for Acadian, making sure to get that advantage for himself. And at this point, I think it's a bit of a strange position for Acadian to be in here. Same with Lemonation, where you have these super important matches coming up on Saturday and Sunday, and then your team needs you to step up and fulfill a pretty important role as well. And it's got to be a little bit of a it's nice to get the reps in some way, and this is a much more controlled environment than Scrim. So you can kind of think of it as a superior Scrim, but it's not really with the teammates that you would ideally be practicing with.
And it's not exactly just a kind of a team that is below you in the sense it was before. It's a development team. You want to help this team as much as possible, and they would in that situation. But like you said, that splits the focus and not exactly what you need coming up into your LCS weeks.
Yeah, absolutely a bit of an unfortunate situation for OpTic here, but with those farm advantages, about a little over half 1,000 gold in their favor.
Ultimate coming in on to Linsanity. There's the 1, 2, 3's a crowd. And there's the Realm Warp you were talking about. Gets himself that safety bubble. Acadian goes hard, knowing he has what it takes to take down the kill. And they almost get an assist on that true shot barrage from Man.
Really surprising to see OpTic able to grab that kill. Linsanity was just way too far forward in that lane. OpTic gets a 3-man roam on top of him to be able to chunk him down low enough that they could get the kill. Just not really much vision control down there. Lemonation comes running through a pink ward, so they actually could have seen that. He gets popped up, and you see the power of this Realm Warp, but at rank 1, it doesn't go very far. Acadian is able to just charge forward and get that. If he was a little further back and that Realm Warp is putting him behind his turret, or even with it, it's much harder there for Acadian to go for that cleanup kill. But it's really impressive to see them get that kill through the stopwatch Realm Warp combo.
Linsanity as well, when they played against Team Liquid Academy, had a few issues tracking that jungler, tracking the wards when they had the vision. Oh my word, I thought Kaiser Kitsuo was going to have a second to think about that. But Acadian just electrocutes him down and says, thank you very much.
Hey, talk about troubles tracking the jungler right there.
Yeah.
Acadian shows up on top of Kitsuo's red buff and punishes him for not knowing that he was there.
So this is now good for Acadian. Again, we saw this yesterday. Acadian with that prowess in the early game, knowing what to do, but will the team follow? Will the solo lanes be there behind him? Here, they come up from the bot side and they say, we'll help you and get a little bit more as we know where their jungler is down in the rest of their lanes.
Well, and this is a nice champion for Acadian to be having a good game on. One of the best individual carry champions for jungler in the current meta. And already off to a great start. 2-0. Get some kills, get red buff, high in farm here as well. He's ready to go Hulk out in the rest of this game.
He just made a slight change. He said, last time I gave the kills the top lane. This game, they're my kills, and I'll just give people assists around the board. I'll be the resource giver. And we'll see how much he can do as he makes his way back onto the map. We'll have Raptors in a possible top side if he even wants to go there, or he can again focus bottom, a chance to get back at that bot lane. Summoners are up, so it could be tough.
Yeah, it's been a bit quiet down there. Kalista is still a pretty high priority champion in the meta. Has all that utility to pick a lot of fights to start them, but with that Morgana counter pick, it feels like it's largely been neutralized on the side of 100 Thieves Academy. And here we go, Acadian continuing to be aggressive.
He gets the Zoom Zoom boots. Mobility immediately, finishes his item, and he just goes back. Now this giving Palafox a little bit of a lead. A player you wanted to watch. We'll see if he can make an impact.
It's pretty crazy. He already has those Moby boots. He got the free boots from the inspiration tree at 10 minutes. Goes back instantly, gets the Moby boots, and is ganking on the map with the Moby boots at 10:15, 10:20. So really kind of crazy there out of Acadian.
Just afterburners are on. You see what the idea he has coming into this game today, though. Non-stop, wants to be present. Even if that gives up the vision of where he is, he's still being enough of a distraction. So 100 Thieves cannot act. Seems like it's going to be bot lane now. Instant teleport coming in. It is going to be a big hit as they try for the Fate's Call. That gives enough distance for Recaro, but it isn't enough coming in from Palafox's ultimate. And OpTic is now in the bot lane with 5 members 11 minutes into the game. And it is 100 Thieves trying to answer. Have they overstayed their welcome? A hit onto Palafox. Winter's Bite could lock him down. Keeper's verdict not going to put anybody out here. The verdict is the fight continues, and it is not looking good for 100 Thieves. They're turned upside down. The lunch money is falling out of their pockets, and now it's Linsanity under the turret trying to figure out a way out. And OpTic Academy comes up huge.
Monster 4th row down the bot lane there for OpTic Academy. That dive starting off the back of Acadian, wrapping behind the turret as they push in the bot lane, drops a ward down for the teleport to come through.
Oh, let's see it again.
Yeah, here you go.
1,
Already.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Palafox taking the blast cone over. Recaro forced to flash
Nice
early, and Palafox can just run in there. Only needs to pop his ghost to get in range so he can save it for later in this fight. Now that Kaizen, excuse me, finished his teleport, he's stranded on the turret himself. The rest of 100 Thieves want to go out and help him, but they're split between these two fronts to fight on. And then this whiff is a huge problem. It could have potentially split the fight and given them a numbers advantage. But once it misses, it's go time for OpTic.
And the turret's not even protection. A new wave crashes in. Like, everything went so well there for OpTic.
Yeah, really, really well played by them. A couple misplays there on the side of 100 Thieves, and now a 6-0 4K gold advantage for OpTic, all off the back kind of Acadian's play.
What a switch. A 17-0 100 Thieves game yesterday, and they kind of get that turned around on them right away. They only lost 2 turrets and a Herald yesterday. So here, a quick hit. See if they can recoup.
Yep, nice roam to the mid lane with a couple different members of 100 Thieves. And Palafox, thanks God that he kept his flash down that whole bot lane skirmish because he uses it there to stay alive.
They still got stopwatch too. These guys are playing very calm and collected in these scattered fights, or the scattered fight, I should say, we just saw. Ooh, Linsanity walking right into the brush. Thought he had control from Kitsuo coming through the jungle, and he was right. He just had to go through a bit of damage to get there.
Yeah, pretty scary there for Linsanity, but doesn't have to go down. Gets covered up by Kitsuo there, showing to protect him. Ezreal goes wide, but Acadian's not done.
Huzzah! Acadian flying through in the night during the day, if you will. quite invisible.
Having a tough time here. And Acadian asserting his dominance, showing what you have to get ready and get used to if you want to move up to the big leagues. Acadian kind of bullying him here. And you see the power of this Kha'Zix pick, the map mobility that's available. I mean, he ran down bot lane so fast to get that one play off down there. That was a huge play here. They just forced Palafox's flash. 100 Thieves think, okay, we got a little bit of breathing room now for Linsanity.
But do you?
Nope, you do not. As instantly, Acadian shows up twice in the mid lane.
The breathing room was used oxygen. It did not help. Acadian 5-0-1. 1 participation away from having full participation in this game, whether it be a kill or an assist.
Yeah, it feels like he still deserves the credit. He was there for the kill.
Yeah.
I guess he just didn't get the assist down somehow.
He was flexing. Scary guns.
Here we have to see OpTic Academy actually close this game out, though, because they did have a lead in their previous game yesterday, and that is what we were saying was the concern for them is as you move into this 15, 20, 25-minute mark, do they actually have the coordination to close this game out cleanly?
The thing is it wasn't just kills. Usually you see that be a few thousand gold lead. They're up to 6,000 in the lead now. Absolutely ridiculous for just around 12 minutes that was. And they can make any choice they want. But like you said, they have to keep those choices going, and they have to stay proactive. Can still be a lot of moves made by Realm Warp and 100 Thieves team that comes in at 5 strong. Acadian, once again, gets himself a Pixel Brush right under Baron to see if they can get a clear out. But Lemon Nation looks like he'll power Acadian now. He says, you're online, you get the Black Shield, I'll stay with you.
You need to hear about how important jungle support duos are. TSM revamped their whole roster around improving that synergy. Point. And here you get to see Acadian and Lemon working together, trying to get some vision control down. And how important that is in these kind of mid-game portions.
How fitting, too. Be like, I play with you, we're on the same team. Yeah, this works. This works.
There you see both them working together right here, also trying to get a pick off.
Again, Acadian staying, waiting. Look at the positioning as well. If anybody flashes away, he's already on that goal side, if you will, to pick up another kill or put another one in the net. Double kill for Acadian, 7-0-1. Linsanity is just insanity right now as he walks into another fight he did not want.
Oh, this is getting tough to watch around in the mid lane. 0-4 for Linsanity, getting picked apart by Acadian, who had some great micro there to sidestep the Sejuani, who was coming in to try and cover the rest of his team. If you get another look at that, you can see how Acadian uses that kind of brush invisibility and speed buff. And after they win that skirmish, they also grab the Rift Herald. They're taking down the top outer off that fight already. This game is going from 0 to 100 real quick.
Very quick.
Or I guess 100 to 0, huh?
Yeah.
For 100 Thieves.
It actually was very, very true. A big difference from their game yesterday as we see this happen once again. Just taunting. And they're in a position where the fight probably wouldn't turn out well anyways.
And there you see what I was talking about, able to kind of juke up and around the Braum to wrap around behind him.
Yeah.
As Sejuani came in over the wall. He was aware that that was happening, and able to sidestep what Sejuani was trying to do. Had the black shield on anyway, so probably wouldn't have interrupted him, but good heads-up play by Acadian, showing he knows how to snowball on this Kha'Zix in case you needed any more evidence after Spring Split last year.
Do we, though? It looks like he's going to give us some more evidence this game, now heading towards the bot side, and it seems like whether the calls are coming from him or Lemon, or the rest of the team is communicating. That kill he got already had Andy and Lemon Nation pushing top lane. They have a lot of things set in play before they're doing it.
Absolutely. And here the snowball continues, grabs this Mountain Dragon. Great Dragon from ahead. Makes it easier to take turrets, take Baron, and continue smashing objectives down.
It's absolutely great for OpTic as well to kind of see this formula of play in the early game. They won't have Acadian and Lemon Nation throughout the entire Academy League, so this is great for them to get under their belt with this stuff.
Yeah, in some sense, it probably feels good to have such a strong performance, even if it is in the Academy League. Heading into your matches, like, hey, you know, you give me Kha'Zix, I can snowball on some people. So it's going to have to see if this is maybe tipping their hand a little bit for this weekend's games, that maybe he draws a ban on the Kha'Zix now.
So you're calling an OpTic win?
Like I said, I might base some opinions off Academy Series. And if,
I guess more so even now. It's easy.
Yeah, much more so if the same players are going to play this weekend and they look good.
This would be great if you had a fantasy league. Be like, oh, I'm subbing this guy out. That was a great Academy game.
Yeah.
He's going to be in LCS this week. Coming up on 20 minutes here. Just now it's trying to figure out for 100 Thieves how they can stop the bleeding. How do they put a wall up for Acadian?
It's really, really tough to do. I mean, they do have a very beefy front line, but at the same time, the Kha'Zix is so far ahead now that what should normally be a tough team comp to play Kha'Zix into has been set so far behind. He's 100% off the ground. The scaling is not great. Callista's a champion that generally wants to make things happen in the early and mid game and be the aggressor, and she's completely on the back foot this game off of intelligent counterpick and great plays. So it's really tough for 100 Thieves to find their way back in here. It's got to start with shutting down Acadian somehow. You know, he's got a lot of bounty on him. If you're able to get that kill, someone's going to become much richer. You just hope you can get that onto the Riser Callista.
Rift Herald towards mid lane. Pushed out a little early, but they're just trying to call 100 Thieves into the middle. And it worked! Ali Oxenfree, not for Kitsuo. He goes down, cannot get the safety. And it looks like the binding hits, a little extra damage being delivered through as the poke aggression, just from the bot lane here, is literally changing some of these fights after they're able to get a few kills.
We were talking about how, you know, it's the Lemon Nation meta. Give him Morgana. You see why. He's an absolute sniper with this champion. One sets up a kill in the mid lane. The other one chunks out another member of 100 Thieves and allows OpTic to continue the siege, grabbing their mid-inner turret.
Also has a great bit of Fog of War to play with on the sides. The team is keeping that up, so their ability to use Morgana does not fall off. And now 11-0 in what is currently a perfect game. No turrets or Rift Heralds taken against OpTic.
And it's so hard to come back here. I mean, Morgana grabbing the Magi Soul Stealer up to 9 stacks already.
It feels like when a Morgana is even, or she's like fed in the game, it's like the binding has extra hands. You're like, oh, I've dodged this. How did that grab me?
Yeah.
Over and over, and you get this false sense of security that you're in a safe spot, and each one keeps hitting.
Yes, there's some value there that like hitbox size scales with lead.
Right? Almost.
And it's tough because, I mean, they have a lot of setup, too. It's Malzahar who can use his Spooky Ghost with the Frost Queen's Claim. Same with Morgana. That's a lot of vision and setup. So if anyone's ever slightly out of position, one of those two pop that active, that starts setting up a long chase down sequence like this potentially, where
Spooky.
Yep. Hits Wynet, he gets slow. Glacial Augment procs as well. Sets up the binding just wide, but you can see there perfectly illustrated the idea of how scary it can be.
Ooh, Kira finds Acadia and Kitsuo. It's a very late Glacial Prison after ultimate, thinking he could get there in time. Even scattered around the map. OpTic in positions to kind of stop a push, stop something. Lemon was there to help Califox had gotten into a dangerous situation. Now completely dark. We talked about that vision. If they do have a ward, it's being left up and just denied at this point.
Yeah, and you see how safe 100 Thieves felt they had to play that. They were wrapping around between their inner turrets, not venturing into their jungle at all, and it allows OpTic to take that Baron completely uncontested, and they're not even going to base, going to keep pushing with it.
What an interesting turn of events for 100 Thieves. From their game yesterday to their game today, they must be absolutely turned on their head without finding results here. When is their next in? And it looks like it's to defend and hope for a mistake from OpTic.
Yeah, but it's really tough against this team of OpTic, where if they pin you up into a base, it's just a a bit of a shooting gallery where Morgana's throwing out binding.
Very true.
Throwing out ruptures, arcane. I want to say Arcane Missile. I know that's not the right thing. As here we see
True Shot Barrage.
True Shot Barrage, yeah. Force him under the turret.
There's the Arcane Shift as Dokla gets out. It looks like Kitsuo and Wyan does go down. I thought he'd live, but couldn't get the shield up. Kaizen, Kitsuo in a bad spot here as they get themselves to safety. Everything is in defense, and the burn goes through, melting down Sejuani. Kitsuo falls, not having the same game he did yesterday, and it looks like OpTic is pushing for the base once again.
Yep, 2 quick kills, sets up that inner turret take. They're going to keep on moving. Califalc's not even basing at 5% HP. They grab the top inhibitor, excuse me, before moving down over the mid one.
Definitely an idea from start to finish here for OpTic coming into this game. The picks were strong coming out. All they really had to do was answer a Poppy, which I don't believe was a pick to do much, but just a pick for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and taking another look at this, you see it starts out Dokla running in, threatening, not actually getting hit by that Callista ultimate. Just leads to another sequence here where Wyan's too far forward as they're trying to punish the overextension by OpTic. Poppy shows up too late as Wyan's already dead. Califox tanks a lot of the turret to lock members down and sets up the rest of the team to continue chasing forward. 2 kills now, and from behind, as behind as they are, this perfect game continuing.
Yep.
It's very scary if 100 Thieves can find anything for them.
I think we had a 14,000 gold lead yesterday in a 29-ish minute game. So far, our fastest of the offline academy. And now, or just the Academy League in general, off and online is the same. But now it could be faster here if OpTic Academy can put the finishing touches on the bot lane. 2 inhibitors open. They're pushing with the Spooky Ghosts. They get an idea of where this fight could start.
Yep, double Spooky Ghost in a row. Locking Wyan down. Forces him to flash away just with that. I mean, they have so many chase down tools. I mean, you look at the Righteous Glory there for Dokla as well. He can come flying at you, and with double inhibitors down already, we talked about the shooting gallery. It's going to continue here. Lots of long-range skill shots to throw out.
A perfect game on to the final inhibitor turret here for OpTic Academy. Slowly pressuring. Dokla getting the demolish on the turret. Looks like they get the extra damage needed. A stun, but not pressured forward. Redemption comes down for a bit of healing, and they keep themselves safe. You can see even with a good hit, the initiation isn't for sure from 100 Thieves.
Right, a lot of tools there to keep them alive. Morgana throwing the black shield down to block any follow-up CC. 100 Thieves gets chunked out during that engage right as another minion wave shows up. So OpTic grabs the 3rd and final inhibitor. Now they're pressuring the Nexus turrets.
OpTic Academy falling to Team Liquid Academy yesterday, and now they're looking to put the finishing touches on a perfect game against 100 Thieves, turning them on their own head from their performance yesterday. The Nexus turrets are going to fall. 15 kills and just about a 15 to 16,000 gold lead on the board. OpTic Academy come up with a victory.
25-minute perfect game there.
Fastest one so far.
That was absolutely dominating, mostly off the back of Acadian getting his kind of signature Kha'Zix pick and just destroying the side of 100
This
Thieves.
is like one of those games where I play with the casters in there and like Jad or Kobe's in the jungle and we're playing at my level. It's just like, what happened? And Acadian knew what he had to do that game, and he did not steer away from that at all.
Yeah, and we were kind of saying, this is a welcome to the LCS kind of thing. Like, you got to get used to players like me every single, game that you're going to play up there. And, I think it's actually really cool to see in week 1 how dominant a player like Acadian can be, just moving down a little bit of a level of play and getting a champion he's comfortable with, just completely snowballed the game.
Unfazed as well, knowing 100 Thieves had a great game yesterday. They said, we'll focus a few things in champion select. 100 Thieves not as well getting a composition that really was going to explode open in the game anyways, and I think Acadian knew that as he was taking it to each lane.
Yeah, there were a couple weird things in the draft. The blind pick Poppy resulting in a completely neutral top lane. The Braum getting countered out by Morgana, which is obviously Lemon Nation's signature champion, arguably. The Ezreal going over as well. And then, you banned out a couple of Acadians like power farm focused champions, but then he also plays a great Kha'Zix, which worked out fine for him as well.
And we wondered, would the game still be aggressive in the early portion? Acadian likes to do that. Yes, absolutely it was. 10:50 into the game, OpTic send 5 people to the bot lane, and it was instant. It wasn't a thought they mulled around a bit. It was, yes, we're doing this. We're all here right now.
Yeah, Acadian showing how fast Moby Boots with the R evolve can be. Instantly gets down to this bot lane, sets up the teleport. Palafox wasn't far behind. Credit to him. It was a well-coordinated play. Able to ghost in there and get the kill onto Rikara, and then the teleport came in way too late. Now Kaizen's stuck under there. He's going to start charging up this Keeper's Verdict. Whiffs it, which means it's going to stay a 5v4 as no one gets ejected from the fight. And now, once again, they're all too low, forced under this turret, stuck between a rock and an enemy army.
A lot of them, bindings, mystic shots, so many things that they, thinking about dodging Acadian, had to dodge those bindings and the mystic shots. It makes the fight so chaotic.
Yeah, as soon as you can kind of pin the enemy up against a wall like that, it makes the team comp of OpTic so much easier to play. You suddenly lose all these angles that you want to juke from, and suddenly every binding starts hitting you. And like we said, Morgana still had that stopwatch. You see, you're able to use it there to get the ultimate off.
That just shows the confidence in the early game. Even with all of those dives, we're like, actually, I won't die this time, sliver of health. Feels good. That makes you want to make more plays. And seeing what OpTic can do, we have to remember this is Acadian and Lemon Nation on the team, but that's good for the team to see what needs to be done early game, how to continue and press forward an advantage like that.
Yeah, and it's nice to see, given yesterday that they also had some leads that ended up slipping away from them. Here it ends up on Acadian, who's probably, the best player on that team, and he's got to manually carry versus like set somebody else up.
Absolutely.
But you do get to see, hopefully, OpTic learning from this opportunity, seeing how to snowball a game effectively, because this was fantastic on the side of Lemon Nation and Acadian. He didn't just get fed. He breaks open the bot lane. Bot lane starts coming mid. They start getting in all these skirmishes that they can then 2v3 or 3v2 and start winning all those. So it was a bit of a clinic on how to run a game over.
He's going to have a food coma after this one. He just go pass out and be happy with that performance.
Yeah, I don't need scrims the rest of the day. I'm going to bed. You saw that. You saw that game.
Looking at 100 Thieves, though, I mean, this would have been still an amazing game if Levi was in. What is the potential there? Do you think there could have been a little more back and forth with that situation? Obviously, speculation, but what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, Levi was such a force in MSI at Worlds. You have to figure, like, when this guy shows up, he will start just dominating every jungle matchup, and hopefully we end up in a bit aggressive meta where Kha'Zix is still viable and stuff, so we can see exactly how Levi plays. And this was an example where mid kind of got blown open. It was mostly Linsanity who was getting taken apart by Acadian there. And you would hope that, Levi, when he comes, not just can he match Acadian in pathing, but he can communicate, like, I think Acadian's here. I can read him better. And those are the kinds of things that Levi's trying to learn probably when it comes to the Academy League, is those communication aspects.
Enough for both teams, an interesting question. Seeing that Levi's the one to come in and also junglers are supposed to slot in on that side, where do they look? Who is somebody that if Levi comes in, does he look to mid? Does he look to top? Where does Levi look when he gets on the team?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on how they develop from here, because looking at it, you would say Wyan and Rikara should be a strong point, and they took, Callista and Braum, and you want to dive this bot lane. They kind of got counterpicked, so maybe that's something where Levi shows up. They continue to be bot focused. It's hard exactly to say. One game, 2 games of evidence here. Their first game was a 17-0. Everyone looked great. This time, the complete opposite, 15-0 or whatever it was. So, a very feast or famine right now for the side of 100 Thieves.
And just quick for the other side, for OpTic, who would kind of be that guy once they get their regular jungler in that they should kind of bolster? Who would they be going for?
Well, I mean, I liked what I saw at Palafox here. He had a little bit of a rough day yesterday, but he followed up on Acadian's aggression pretty well and exhibited some good mid-jungle synergy in how to take over this game. And if he's going to get things like the Malzahar, you hope to see that out of a guy who is one of the less experienced players in this league right now.
All right, well, there's 2 players to keep your eyes on and 2 games down, but we're just getting started. Coming up next, we'll see Academy teams of Clutch Gaming and Golden Guardians go head-to-head. Don't go anywhere.
Holding their favorite.
Ultimate coming in on to Linsanity. There's the 1, 2, 3's a crowd. And there's the Realm Warp you were talking about. Gets himself that safety bubble. Acadian goes hard. Liquid Academy had a few issues tracking that jungler, tracking the wards when they had vision. Oh my word, I thought Kaiser Kitsuo was gonna have a second, and it is not looking good for 100 Thieves. They're turned upside down. The lunch money is falling out of their pockets, and now it's Linsanity under the turret trying to figure out a way out. And again, Acadian staying, waiting. Look at the positioning as well. If anybody flashes away, he's already on that goal side, if you will, to pick up another kill or put another one in the net. Double kill for Acadian, 7-0-1.